Awesome. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. Really excited for us to kick this party into gear. So let's start with Igor. 5 years ago, in 2019, the world of crypto looked a lot different than it does today. So before we look into the future, let's reflect on how far we've come as a community. So as a leading crypto researcher and builder during this time, which expectations did you have in 2019 that have changed since then? And what was common practice, or what has become common practice in a way that you didn't expect?
Yeah, so if somebody remembers 2019, it was before a rollup was a thing at all. Like especially like just before this panel discussion, I looked up the Vitalik's post of ETH research that was called like something rollup centric Ethereum roadmap, and it was dated something 2020. So that means in 2019, what we tried to do is we tried to scale through scaling layer ones, and we were competing sort of with these tricky ideas about, okay, how do we scale Ethereum with sharding, with some project that was called Serenity, but then Ethereum 2.0 that's actually didn't happen yet. So we do that. Ethereum itself can process like tens of thousands of transactions per second, and then were alternative L1s who claim to have more scalability. And then we see how things changed in like 2020, and they started changing in 2020 with this post. And basically in 2022, what we got is like the summer of L2s. And I think nobody really expected that. Like from the research team and something everybody was working on the base layer. And I think if we kind of try to look at this and, extrapolate it a little bit to the future, we see right now that we have a lot of L2s and some kind of a starting, like working on like private rollups, and like Optimism has a stack, ZK Sync has a stack, so there is like Polygon Supernets based on ZK and stuff like this. So I think we will, if we move kind of forward with that, we are going to the future where we actually have Ethereum more or less as a global settlement layer, but then through dunk sharding and some other updates, it's actually able to host lots and lots of L2s, and maybe some of them are big and used for DeFi with like DeFi Legos and composability. Some of them are more private for more use cases, but then it's all connected through kind of one big decentralized network.
So to that big decentralized network, right now it sounds like we've got a lot of exciting projects that we're learning about this week, many of which take us beyond our known universe of speculation and token swapping and DeFi degen stuff, which is my personal favorite, but also very, very stoked to learn about the ways in which this technology can be put to work to solve a more diverse set of problems. So Christophe, at Request Finance, you all solve quite a lot of very real problems in business operations with invoicing and payroll. So from your vantage point in a very tangible offering, how are you seeing emergent use cases taking the lead right now related to actual tangible business operations? And what UX changes are you expecting in this movement of account abstraction that will make some of these use cases especially pivotal in places that are not as degen as we are?
Thank you. So talking about degens, we started back in 2017 trying to serve this degen punk community, and hopefully everyone has evolved over the last few years, and even this degen community understood the need for doing the things the right way in order to get our industry finally adopted and recognized as a legitimate business. And we took this opportunity to create Request as an invoicing technology and B2B payment technology. So at the end of the day, everyone gets like a proper, decent paper trail for every single operation they do. They can maintain a proper accounting. They can get audited. They can scale. They can raise funds because they have like a base of documents for people to be to audit their operations. And what changed since 2017 is that we all grew into like this industry where everything is difficult, and now in terms of UX, at our own level, we manage like to streamline financial operations and make it simple in one click to make like every single payment easy, salary easy, expense easy. And I think we go even to the step further with account abstraction. I think it's the next level of adoption. And the more we look to Web 2 world, abstracting Web 3 difficulty, to the more we go to adoption.
Awesome. So to take us over to the world of Monerium, there are a lot of cowboy degen directions in this universe, but there are also a lot of folks who can help us abide by the rails that already exist in the world today. So things like regulation are imminently relevant to today's discussion with your work, with our hosts. So, in terms of regulation related to crypto, data, and user consent, how do you anticipate those regulatory changes affecting your work over the coming years, especially given the rise of stablecoins?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So for those of you who don't know Monerium yet, we're the issuer of the URI, which is an authorized and regulated stablecoin, which is interconnected with the SEPA system. So that's where that comes in. And I'm only the CTO of the company, but I'm a hobby lawyer on the side, so I'm very capable in answering those questions when it comes to regulation. So what I usually want to do is to kind of contrast it with TradFi. So in some senses, we are ahead already with some of the things. In some ways, we're behind. And then I think, and then there are a few predictions that I have, okay? So where we are already ahead, so we have massive regulations revolving around open banking, right? And basically what that is just a way for banks to standardize their APIs. And with a blockchain, like you have that already built in. So what you're able to do, you're able to see in a standard format the account value of somebody, and you can initiate a payment. And that's where we actually are far ahead of everything that's happening. So with regards to where we're lacking, and which will probably require a lot of work on everyone's part here, is actually privacy. This doesn't get a lot talked about right now, but I think this is going to be an important trend in the coming years. Many of the companies are not going to be able to transact openly, while we still have to maintain sort of the auditability of whatever is going on, right? So in that way, we're both ahead and we're behind, but what I want to leave you with is, so there are a lot of real-world assets coming online right now. Fiat currency is one of them. And today, we have regulatory clarity in Europe, whereas in many other parts of the world, including the US, it's just a massive shit show, to be honest, okay? So I think, and this is my prediction, I think, remember the mobile days, the early beginnings of that. You had two competing standards. So if you had a phone issued in the EU, you couldn't use it in the US. There were two competing standards. And the GSM standard actually won that competition, which is now usable everywhere. And I think the MiCA, the e-money directive, everything that's happening right now and being clarified could actually be the GSM moment, the protocol that gets exported to the world. So I'm pretty excited about that.
All right, we are bullish global protocols all the way down. So, a lot of what we've been discussing this evening has to do with greater usability, whether on an individual level, on an institutional level, and what it means to meet people where they are, not only in their business requirements, but also in their everyday. So bringing this down to a sort of an individual human level, Masha, other than our work at Disco making verifiable data more accessible, what's a recent favorite product that you've been using, and why was it such a great experience? And given that experience, how are you expecting that to improve in the next few years?
Yes, so I would say that for the average crypto user, a product that is worth coming back to is still pretty limited in this space. And one that I do find myself going back to and find myself recommending to a lot of friends and family to get started in the ecosystem is Pool Together. I can explain Pool Together in one sentence. It is a no-loss lottery where you can save money, and that money is pooled together with your friend's money, and it collects yield, and you win the lottery every once in a while from saving your money. And so I really love Pool Together. I love the Pool Together community. And something that I would really love to see more of is being able to have more customizable journeys within that experience. So perhaps reading my preferences in my data backpack, my verifiable credentials that tell you how much money do I have, where do I spend my money, how much money do I have left after I've covered most of my expenses, how much money should I save, where should I put that money, can I pool that money together with my friends for a vacation or to save for college. Being able to have these things recommended to me, being able to have these journeys at the click of a button and not force me or the user to have to go through bridges, to have to get assets that I don't have to participate in this transaction. And so I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to explore that in the coming years. And I definitely think that Pool Together will be one of those places.
All right, so we got some pulley shells in the house, and it sounds like, from the protocol all the way to the card that we're talking about this evening, the ease of transaction and taking the guesswork of what it means to interact with these technologies is the pivotal unlock. So for everyone, quick lightning round. What is your one-sentence prediction for our 2028 Eiffel in Crypto event hosted by Gnosis, then the largest financial provider in the galaxy? Hot takes from anywhere.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I mentioned real-world assets earlier. I think that's the big new wave. So my prediction is the TVL of real-world assets supersedes the TVL of crypto. That's what I think is going to happen.
My hot take is that people will no longer have to be pilled to participate. Drugging people should not be the standard.
Yeah, so my prediction would be that we will not have to use Visa or MasterCard standards as kind of this intermediary model to have on-chain transactions with a great UX with hardware wallets.
Prediction is people will use blockchain and crypto without noticing it. And account abstraction is a good way to do it. And whenever the crowd here will use blockchain rails without noticing, we'll have win.
Well, it sounds like we have all of the pieces that we need to get started in this room right now. So please remember to pick up your POAP that unlocks access to your Gnosis Visa card. If you're interested in playing with credentials, there are also QR codes on the table that will allow you to get started. Thank you so much to our panelists and our host this evening. Really appreciate you all being here.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Yeah.